Priya and Prakash were driving away from Priya's home, and they were going on their little drive.
Right, I remember that.
So I imagined them traveling on a particular road that I knew. And on that road is the house that was rented by the community in which I live for a family of Syrian refugees. And so as I went past that house in my imagination with the two of them driving on it, and I'm describing the situation, it was then that I thought, oh my gosh, I can put in the Ugandan experience and talk about how when the Ugandans came, when Idi Amin expelled them and they arrived in Canada and in England. I remember my family, we were in England at the time, and we went to Wembley to see these exotic and exiled refugee Ugandans on the streets of Wembley. And people didn't really want the Ugandans who were being expelled, quite differently than the Syrians at this particular time, where they were, I don't know about in the States, but certainly here in Canada, they're being very much welcomed in various communities, and they're being sponsored. And so as I went by their house, I thought, wait a minute, this is an interesting situation, and I can give Prakash some body, as it were, to who he is by creating this experience for him, which is based on a real story, and asking the character Prakash to tell me about his relationship to immigration as compared to what he was seeing happening to the Syrians at this point. So what that did was not allowed Prakash to be just a cartoon character that Priya was talking about, but to become a real person. That in some ways, a person who was also suffering in some ways, even as she was suffering in this particular story between the two of them.
Excellent. Yes, that, and you put it so well, saying it like that. That's exactly what happened, because it helped you identify with him and what was going through his mind. Because at sometimes he becomes a rather frightening character in the story. There are points in there. Yeah, so.
But
yeah.
Steve, the reason, it's really easy to damn him, to damn Priya, or to damn Alex. But if you pay attention to their stories, you really see why they did, even the horrendous things that they did, why they did those things. And I like the confusion of that. That the ease with which we want to point fingers doesn't sit well with me in real life at all, because everybody has a story. I mean, there's things that are right and there are things that are wrong, but also understanding and having a kind of a more humanistic way of regarding people's foibles is very important to me.
Exactly, and that's what we see every day. You wonder, you see the so-called people who say that they are, quote, law and order, but they fail to put in the actual facts behind what drove the people to do things that they've done. What's happened in their past lives, exactly. And that's an important point, and you're bringing that out in your book as well. I think you're showing that by showing the actual backstory of the characters that you have in here. That helps people understand, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. You certainly do that, and it's fascinating. What would you like to? Also, some other points. What are the points that you like to highlight in your book there that you bring out? Things like that you can think of. That I can think of their various scenes. The scenes between Priya and Alex. There was a number of scenes there where like you said earlier, that your conversations and things that you've had and so forth. That between Priya and Alex, they were having the conversations, and they were worried if they really were thinking like that or behaving like that. Is there anything else that you can cite in your book there that might be of interest in that along those same lines?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they are two women who got together in older life. Not older. I mean, they're in their late 50s, and they know that they both have had pasts. You can't get to the age 50 and not have had a past.
Right.
Several pasts.
Right.
But there's, I sort of bring up things where they're saying, wait a minute, the person that you fell in love with is a result of that past. They are a vessel for all their experiences. So then you can't go back and say, well, I'm jealous about this experience that you had, or that one, or that person you were with. Those things are a long time ago. So one of the things that I was fascinated by and found myself exploring is jealousy. And, I didn't write these things down. Jealousy, immigration, refugee, lies. I didn't write those things down and then write stories to go with them. As I got into the character, Priya, and followed her, and deeply, deeply followed her, and she became almost like flesh and blood to me, this person that I had become, and also who was walking at the side of me constantly in conversation. These things came up, all of these topics, as it were. All of these aspects of life came up, and at the end of writing the first draft, the first real solid draft, then I could look back and say, wow, these things came up, and they're clearly important. And certainly with my amazing editor, Meg Story, she helped me. She would also say things like, wow, you're writing this over and over and over. It's like all through the novel. That's a theme that you're working with. And I say, oh my God, you're right. And I would develop that, right? But one of them that's really strong for me is the idea that your past will come back to bite you. And you can't hide these things. You can't tell these lies. You tell the lies, and you have to tell more lies to maintain those previous lies. On and on it goes, and then you don't know who you are. And then about who you are, that's another thing, is that if you aren't able to be who you are living these lies all the time.
Exactly. And I like what you said there. You're so right. The old saying is so true here. We are each a summation of who we have been in the past. We are each that summation. And
yes.
what our past has happened to us is what we are now. Well, listen, we have about 2 minutes to summarize here. I want you to give some of your closing thoughts, and then we will sign off. And Shani, it's been so good talking to you. You have an amazing book here, and I can understand why you have won some of the awards that you have won.
Thank you. It's really, really good to speak with you. And, it's one of the strange things that has happened. The book came out just as the world had begun to shut down. And I thought the book was going to just die. And it hasn't, because of people like yourself. The book has gotten a lot of really, really nice recognition and lots of reviews. Julie Enza did a wonderful review of it for Autostraddle, and my publisher Akashic in the U.S. Has been really paying a lot of attention to it. So the thing that I'm missing most of all is not being able to engage with readers. Meet them at the end of a reading or something, sign books for them, talk to them.
Right.
Answer questions from them, So that's been tough. But with the big, getting on the short list of the Scotiabank Giller Prize has been quite an amazing thing, and I think I think the communities have been supportive of us as writers.
Excellent. And I want to tell you that I'm going to feature your book here along with a couple of others. And I have an email list that we sent out to over 900 plus LGBTQ plus in the Minnesota region of South Florida. And so you're going to be on that list, so I hope it generates some interest from you there too.
Oh, Steve, that's so good of you. Thank you very, very much.
And thank you for putting out such a great book. And we're going to sign off now. We have had, it's been a pleasure, Shani. It really has, okay?
Thank you. And we're up here. I know everybody is with you all down there.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for listening, and we hope you've enjoyed today's discussion. This has been Coastal Progressive and Rainbow Forum on Society Bites Radio, and I've been your host, Steve Ryan.